blossoms of courage. In a small village nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, where the wind carried the faint echo of ancient songs, lived a young girl named Amara. The village of Elderglow was a place where time seemed to pause, its cobblestone paths worn smooth by generations, bathed in the golden hues of the setting sun. The air was thick with the scent of wildflowers that clung to the edges of the fields, a reminder of better days. Yet beneath this serene surface lay a struggle that had gripped the community for years, a relentless drought that turned fertile land into cracked, barren earth. The riverbed, once a lifeline, lay dry, its stones bleached by the sun, and the villagers moved with a quiet desperation, their faces etched with the weight of hardship. Homes sagged under the strain of neglect, and the laughter of children had grown rare, replaced by the creak of empty carts and the sigh of weary oxen. Amara was no stranger to loss. Her parents had passed when she was barely old enough to remember their faces, taken by a fever that swept through Elderglow one harsh winter. Left in the care of her grandmother, Elowen, she found solace in the woman's gentle strength. Elowen was a figure of resilience, her hands calloused from years of tending the failing fields, her eyes holding stories of better days when the village thrived. Despite the scarcity, she taught Amara to find beauty in the smallest things, a single blooming flower in a cracked pot by their doorstep, the fleeting laughter of children playing near the dry riverbed, the way the stars seemed to whisper hope each night as they sat together on the porch. These lessons became Amara's anchor, a quiet rebellion against the despair that threatened to consume her. One spring, when the drought reached its cruelest peak, a traveling merchant arrived in Elderglow, his weathered cart creaking under a load of peculiar wares. The villagers gathered, their curiosity piqued despite their exhaustion, hoping for something, anything to ease their plight. Among the merchant's goods was a small, unremarkable seed, no larger than a pebble, wrapped in a cloth of faded blue that hinted at distant travels. The merchant, his voice rough but carrying an air of mystery, claimed it was a seed of the legendary Dawnblossom, a flower said to bloom only in the presence of unwavering courage and hope. "Plant it with faith," he said, his eyes locking with Amara's, "and it will transform the land." The villagers scoffed, their skepticism born of too many broken promises. But Amara's heart stirred. She felt a pull she couldn't explain, a flicker of belief amid the doubt. With no hesitation, she traded her only keepsake, a silver locket that had belonged to her mother, its surface worn but warm with memory, for the seed. Elowen, watching from the sidelines, approached her granddaughter with a furrowed brow. "Hope can be a heavy burden, child," she warned, her voice soft but firm. "It lifts the spirit but can break it if it fails." Amara nodded, understanding the risk, but her resolve was unshakable. She chose a patch of earth in the center of the village, a place so dry it seemed to mock her efforts, its cracks wide enough to swallow her hopes. With care, she planted the seed, pressing it into the soil with her small hands, and began a ritual of faith. Each day, she watered it with the little she could spare from their dwindling well, her whispered words of encouragement mingling with the breeze. The villagers watched, some with pity, others with quiet admiration, as weeks passed with no sign of growth. Whispers of failure spread, and Amara felt the weight of doubt pressing against her resolve, a shadow that grew with each passing day. One night, under a moonless sky where stars glittered like distant promises, Amara sat by the patch of earth, her tears falling onto the cracked soil. "Why won't you grow?" she whispered, her voice breaking. The silence stretched, heavy and unrelenting, until a faint glow pulsed beneath the dirt, a soft golden light like a heartbeat stirring to life. Amara's breath caught in her throat. With trembling fingers, she dug gently, uncovering a tiny, radiant bud. It was no ordinary flower. Its petals shimmered with colors that danced between sunlight and starlight, a sight that seemed to defy the desolation around it. Word of the bud spread like wildfire, and by morning the villagers gathered, their skepticism giving way to wonder as they beheld the miracle Amara had nurtured. As days turned to weeks, Amara tended to the Dawnblossom with unwavering devotion, her faith rewarded with growth. The village began to change. Rain clouds gathered for the first time in years, their shadows softening the parched earth, and the dry riverbed began to trickle with water, a sound that brought tears to Elowen's eyes. Inspired by Amara's quiet courage, the villagers set aside their despair. They worked together to repair crumbling homes, sharing what little resources remained, their hands moving in unison to rebuild their community. The Dawnblossom grew taller, its roots stretching deep into the soil, its petals unfurling into a cascade of light that seemed to breathe life into Elderglow. Children returned to the river, their laughter echoing once more, and the air filled with the scent of hope as fields began to green. By summer's end, the village was transformed. Fields bloomed with crops, wheat swaying in the breeze, orchards heavy with fruit, and the reborn river sparkled under the sun, a playground for the children who splashed and played. The Dawnblossom stood as a towering beacon in the village center, its glow a constant reminder of Amara's courage. She stood before it, her reflection shimmering in its petals, and Elowen placed a hand on her shoulder, her voice soft but proud. "You didn't just grow a flower, child. You grew us all." The villages, once divided by hardship, now gathered in celebration, their songs rising into the evening sky, a testament to their renewal. Amara's journey did not end with the village's revival. As word of the Dawnblossom spread, travelers arrived, drawn by tales of a girl who had turned despair into hope. They came from distant lands, their carts laden with gifts, seeds, tools, and stories of their own struggles. Amara welcomed them, sharing her tale and the lessons Elowen had taught her. She began a tradition, planting new Dawnblossom seeds with each visitor. Each one a symbol of courage passed from one heart to another. The grove near Elderglow, once a barren stretch, blossomed with these flowers, their light guiding lost travelers and inspiring new communities. Years passed, and Amara grew into a leader, her name whispered with reverence. She established a council of elders, including Elowen, to guide Elderglow's future. Ensuring the village's prosperity endured, the Dawnblossom became a symbol of resilience, its seeds distributed far and wide, carried by traders and pilgrims. Festivals sprang up around its bloom, with music and dance honoring Amara's sacrifice and the village's rebirth. Yet she remained humble, often retreating to the riverbank where she had once wept, now a place of peace where she reflected on her journey. One autumn, as the leaves turned gold and the mountains glowed with the setting sun, Amara faced a new challenge. A neighboring village, struck by a similar drought, sent emissaries pleading for help. With Elowen's blessing, Amara led a caravan back to the grove, teaching the newcomers how to plant their own Dawnblossom seeds. The journey was arduous, the roads rough and the nights cold, but her faith never wavered. When the first bud sprouted in the foreign soil, rain followed, and the villagers wept with gratitude. Amara's legacy grew, her story a beacon across the region. As decades turned, Amara's hair grayed, but her spirit remained unbroken. She spent her final years tending the original Dawnblossom, its light now a constant presence in Elderglow. One evening, surrounded by children who called her grandmother of hope, she sang an old song Elowen had taught her, her voice carrying over the village. As she closed her eyes, the Dawnblossom pulsed brightly, and a gentle rain fell, as if the land itself mourned her passing. The villagers buried her beneath the flower, its roots entwining with her legacy, and planted a new seed in her honor. Elderglow thrived long after, its fields a testament to Amara's courage. The Dawnblossom became a pilgrimage site, its light drawing people from across the land. Travelers left offerings, stones, flowers, stories, creating a shrine that spoke of hope's enduring power. Amara's locket, returned by the merchant years later as a gesture of gratitude, was placed at the shrine's heart, its silver glinting in the flower's glow. Her tale spread beyond the hills, carried by the wind, inspiring others to plant their own seeds of hope no matter how small or fragile. And so, the legend of Amara and the Dawnblossom lived on, a story of a girl who turned a single act of faith into a transformation that rippled through time. In every village where a Dawnblossom grew, her name was spoken with awe, a reminder that even in the driest of times, courage could spark a bloom that changed the world.